Welcome to hashtag thankful for art. Hashtag thankful for. Well, it's for anything really. Me personally, well, right at this moment, having just had 2 eye operations, I'm thankful for my sight. I'm thankful that the operations went okay and that both eyes are now recovering just fine. I had a slight glitch with the left eye when the pressure was too high and I had to take extra drops, but that's all calmed down now and it's fine. So I found a lot of things to be thankful for. Thankful for the new eyes I've now got. Thankful for the kind of husband who persuaded me to find out about it and who is paying for it. He had his done 10 years ago. I went to have mine done at the same time, and although they said I was suitable for it, they said they couldn't do it because they didn't have a surgeon who could do the cataracts part of the operation. So I've been waiting for the National Health to kick in and nothing's happened. So when I went to see these people, the guy said, "Oh, that's quite a cataract you've got there." So that was worth getting rid of, quite apart from anything else. And when I'd had one eye done and covered the new eye and looked through the lens, the contact lens they gave me, at some white paint through the windowsill, on the windowsill through the window, and then changed from that eye to covering the eye that hadn't been done and looking through the eye that had, there was an appreciable difference in colour. The old eye looked slightly yellow cast and the view from the new eye was pure white. So that was good. And when I had the operation, through the left eye, which was done first, I saw some various shapes and things, but I was told I wouldn't see anything much. So I was quite surprised to see that and fascinated by it. And I painted a picture of it. You'll see that at the end because I do the addition at the end of the little bit that I hadn't done before to finish it off. This that you're looking at now is me doing the view from the operating table while the operation was going on, with all the bits all in place at once. To start with, I could see those 4 squares around the outside, which were the lights, and this square where I'm colouring it in with grey paint. That is just a ceiling vent. So there am I, gazing up at the ceiling, that way up. And I could see that, and the 4 lights, and the strange little grey thing, bottom left of just left of the middle. But I think that's a sort of either a security light or a smoke alarm, I'm not sure. But I take a long time doing this silly grey thing, which I think I might actually cut lots of. So that will be that. Now I'll move on to the next bit. And the light you see now is me using my new Borg headgear. It's a headband with the battery pack at the back, and it has a light in the front that's positionable, plus a place to put 2 lenses, and each of those lenses is for binocular vision. In other words, it's for both eyes, and those are positionable. And then there's another one, you can put another set of 2 lenses, so that you can actually have quite strong magnification if you set it up with the right sequence of lenses. I can also get in there a single monocular lens so that I don't need to use both eyes. That's fancy. So if you see little bits of my head with a funny contraption on, that's what it is. And that's what the light's coming from. It's quite good because it moves as you move, so it's always looking where you are looking. So that's alright, and I might change this as well and speed it up, because I've speeded it up 6 times already, so it's 600% instead of 100%. But I think I'll probably chop bits of that off and go to the interesting bits. Like this bit here. I am painting what I think is the laser. It's a very odd shape, a sort of like an upside down bat. That's what it looks like, that funny sort of stylized bat shape. Now, on the first eye I thought that was a square. Obviously I didn't see it quite so well, or I forgot what I was looking at, one or the other. It has 3 little lights at the top of it, which I will put in later. And then there's various bits and bobs all over the place, but the next thing I do is to paint the lights. The square lights at the edge, I think. Because the whole background, you can see with me painting white paint on this, that the background is a much duller colour. I actually painted the whole of the board with nougat, or nugget, depending on how you pronounce these things, from Paparazzi, one of their fresco finished chalk acrylics. Yeah, I see, I told you I was doing the lights. Now I go over these in white, but then I decide that it would be better to put a slight yellow cast on, because it's not obvious what they are. Not that it's obvious what they are when they're painted anyway, but the whole thing ends up looking quite surreal. Which is all the better. I think it's all the better for being a bit... what's that? So... Anyway, we'll move on to the next bit. We'll stop it here and move on to the next bit where I've done all 4 of them. And then I'll start painting them in yellow. There you go. Paint them all in yellow, yes, lovely. Move that on a bit. And then I paint the security light or smoke alarm, depending on what it is. And now I'm doing this sort of red mist. It was much less red than this in actuality. It was just the faintest of pinks. But I'm not a fan of pink. And I thought it looked more dramatic with this colour. And in any case, I like that colour better than pink. Pink is... So, for artistic license sake, I'm doing it this way. And then we put some white around the outside of it. In fact, we'll move on to that. There we are. Doing some white around the outside. Which again obliterates part of the vent. And most of the smoke alarm as well, but there we are. I think at some point after this I do the light. See, I'm toning down the redness. I don't know whether that red is the heat from the laser or actually a bit of blood. Don't know. There was never any in my eye afterwards, so who knows? Now I'm doing some blue because just near the end, either just before or just after they put the lens in, I can't remember now, I saw these strange little glass-like wormy things. Not really worms, more like sort of, you know, like you might see if somebody put a hair on a little sheet of glass and then put some liquid or water or something on it so that you could look at it down on a microscope slide. So you could look at it down the microscope. And that's sort of what these things are. So they're more sort of grey, but I've seen pictures of them, representations of them online, and they're blue, and I quite like the blue. The blue doesn't go exactly, but it looks good with the other colours there, so it's not quite so boring, not quite so, that's a bit bland, so it's giving it a bit more thing. I could quite easily, you know, a little while down the line, decide that I don't want this anymore, then I'll go over it with something else, and I may turn it into something even more surreal than that. I've also cut out the bits where I've been drawing things in between, so that's why things aren't getting smudged. So let's move on a bit and we'll see what happens a bit later. I've started putting in these little dots now, because they were not just worms or hairs. I think they call them floaters, but there are also these little dots. Probably not quite as many as I put in here. I kind of got overboard, but there we are. So now I fill in the dark blue with a lighter blue on the inside, so that it leaves a kind of edge to give the impression of cell walls, I guess. Anyway, that's what that does. And then we go on to the last bit. which is basically just doing all the filling in, and there we are. I'll cut most of this down because it's way too long. It goes up to 25 minutes, that's ridiculous. Touching up little bits. And then the last bit is the previous eyes view. There we go. Let's stop that one. And now I've done the other side as well. And I think that's turned out pretty good actually. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah.